Egyptians built the earliest known docks on the shores of the Red Sea around 2,500 BC. And 4,500 years later, docks have risen to a whole new level. Many lakes and rivers are now dotted with floating structures, complete with slipways, jet ski ports, and rooftop decks. Docks have become much more than just platforms where you tie up your boat. From these waterborne buildings, you can now go for a dip, take in the view, or just lounge in the sun, whatever floats your boat. Modern constructions are designed on a computer. 3D software outlines each component of the dock and calculates how many floats are needed and where they should be placed to keep the dock level in the water. Thanks to its lightweight rust-proof strength, aluminium is the ideal building material, which is extruded into the unique shapes required for each design. Using blades specially designed for cutting aluminium, each piece is then cut to length to match the blueprint. A variety of techniques are used to further form the shapes, including drill presses equipped with circular hole saws. Once prepared, the components are laid out on the factory floor, ready for the first stage of assembly, although the final assembly will happen on the water at the dock's final location. The parts are tack welded together, and once everything has been checked to ensure the joints are square, the final welds are applied. Unlike steel, aluminium loses strength where it's been welded, and so aluminium sleeves are added over the major joints to support the welds and add extra strength to the structure. The structure is further strengthened by stainless steel bolts and lock nuts, which help hold the parts tightly together. There's minimal reaction between the two different types of metals because there's only a small amount of stainless steel relative to the quantity of aluminium. Once the base of the dock has been assembled, the upper layers can be added. The roof is constructed on short temporary roof poles, which will be replaced by taller structures for the final assembly. The end of the poles are fitted with blue polyethylene bushings, which absorb shock when the dock is stressed by wind and waves. The lightweight aluminium can be easily lifted into position without the need of a crane. Next, a series of narrow aluminium tubes called purlins are added to the roof and deck, before roof panels are positioned and screwed to the purlins. When the team is satisfied that the dock fits together correctly, they take it apart. The lower sections are then flipped over in order to attach the floats. These are made from tough shells of roto-molded polyethylene, which contains styrofoam, which has been expanded to fill the shell. That means that if the outer shell is cracked, the dock will still float. The dock can be fitted with a range of decking options, including aluminium, plastic composites, or wood. In this case, a hardwood is used, which is both durable and extremely stable. It means it won't rot, swell, or contract, even after extended exposure to a high humidity environment. The dock's upper deck is now fitted with a railing. This is both a crucial safety feature and also gives you something to lean on when you're sipping your cocktail, or if you're really lucky, watching that tropical sunset. The railing is made of 12 different components, and the dock may need to be fitted with up to 15 different sections of varying lengths. The dock may also be fitted with additional railings and ladders, which are made from aluminium shaped on a hydraulic bending machine to give the tubing the required contours. Like the aluminium used in the main structure, the aluminium is a marine-grade alloy, which is resistant to corrosion and degradation, even when exposed to water. On site, the team don't need much more than a ratchet set to put it all together, making final assembly of this floating dock a bit of a breeze. So, there you go. All we need now is the sweet soul music of Otis Redding.